Well, it was another really good win. I thought a really good second half for us tonight. First half I thought was just a little bit slow, just from, I don't know. I just didn't feel like anything offensively. We were getting much flow, much pace. But I thought the kids came out in the second half. Of course, the turnovers in the first half were part of the problem. Chloe knows that she has to be so much better, with taking care of the basketball for us. But I thought in the second half, we only had the 2 turnovers with the starters in. Some of those kids that play a lot. We went to our bench, and then we climbed over the, I think we had 9 or 10 maybe, and then, we went to a bench and they turned it over a couple times, which sometimes you expect, but yeah, 24 assists on, just the 13 turnovers. Obviously, we got it going tonight from the outside, especially in that third quarter. Loved how we responded, because some of those I felt like we were getting great shots all night. They just didn't go down. Sid got several good looks. Yarden got a couple of good looks. Shea got a couple good looks in that first. And then it was great to see those go down in the second half, for us. So really good win. This was a team that, was concerned about just because, with a kid like number 32 who can really heat it up. But I thought we did a good job tonight of really trying to just stay in our space. And Destiny Adams is another kid that's played really well for him. But, I thought, again, another good performance defensively.
Questions? Go ahead.
Teri, what's going through your mind in a third quarter like that when you get 10 3-pointers and 36 points so quick?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't see that every day.
Right. I think, for me, it's less play calling and they were just, again, it's like anything, it's contagious. One of them sees it go in, and then I thought Shea did a great job of, she was the facilitator on a few of those. Chloe was a facilitator on a few of those. But it was just great to watch, Sid, Shea, all of them, just share the ball the way they did and see that thing go in, just spacing the floor. And, we got some really good shots. But it was just nice that, nice to see him go in because, again, we got some really good looks that didn't go down for us. And that's happened to us a lot this year. So it was finally good to see a lot of them going in tonight.
But over the last 3 games, you've had a lot go in. How do you kind of bottle that stretch? And have you seen the kids kind of playing with a little more confidence? Because this is something that you hadn't seen really this year.
Yeah, I think that they probably have gained a little bit of confidence. Certainly getting the win at Washington and then coming home and playing so well against Nebraska, and then again tonight here. Especially in that second half. So, I hope like crazy that they're gaining confidence because, as we go down the stretch here, we're going to need them to shoot it, with confidence and play with confidence. But also, as we go on the road here, our defense has to travel because it's been pretty good to us as well.
Yeah, along those lines, what kind of satisfaction do you take in the fact you didn't get the offense you wanted in the first half, but it showed no effect on the defensive end? What kind of, how can you kind of bottle that and take some satisfaction out of that?
Well, again, we'll go back. We'll find something, I'm sure, Todd, to be aggravated with. But, we just feel like, again, we talk to them all the time about, controlling the controllables, and you can control so much on that side of the ball. And it's just having the focus. It's understanding the strategy, game planning, and not losing your focus. Like 32. She, you just can't. You got to stay attached to her because at any point, she, as you guys watched tonight, behind your back a couple times, between your legs a couple times, back and forth. A lot of her shots come off of we call them comfort dribbles. And the minute that you kind of let your guard down, the minute you let your hands come down and you're not as pressed up to her, that's when she can hurt you. And so our kids have really tried, especially Chloe and Lexi, but all of them have really dialed into, what we're trying to take away, when game planning, for these opponents. And, their focus has really been good. There's a lot of communication that's going on the floor, but also in those timeouts. And so, that's what I'm most proud of. But yeah, we're going to have to certainly have it, traveling over to Minnesota over the weekend.
Yeah, with the 24 assists tonight and 25 on Sunday, I mean, that was more than you had in a game in like over a month, both of those. I mean,
Yeah.
were you emphasizing or changing anything that you feel like kind of led to that? Or
No. Part of it, again, goes back to, what has plagued us for some parts of the season, and that's been our turnovers. And then some of it's just not been our ability to knock down open shots. And, that happens. It happens to the best of the best. They just have those nights where it might not go in. But, I think a lot of our issues there stems. We could probably go back and kind of look at what transpired, and our turnovers were probably high, right? And our assists were probably low.
Zion, go ahead.
Teri, really over the last 3 years, pretty much since you got Sid, you guys have made this conscious effort to kind of play these 4-out lineups. Just why have you done that, and what do you think that does for your program on a big picture scale?
Well, I mean, again, when Sid decided to come here, we've done it with all of our stretch fours. Brenna Wise was another, one, and Alexa Gulbe. I think of all the fours that have been in our program, Sid's no different. Jules Lamondola, no different, at the 4. I mean, they're more comfortable facing up. They have range. And so we try to, put them in position to really take advantage of their skill set. And again, some of it stems, going back to Mackenzie. When Mac was first here, we just didn't have the shooters that we've had here probably in the last 4 or 5 years, or 3 or 4 years with Mac, and we just felt like people were really, whether they were just playing off, sometimes sitting in Mac's lap with a double team, just daring us to shoot from the outside. So a lot of that was just in recruiting efforts. We got to find those guys that can really stretch the floor and be threats from the outside to open up anything for Mac, when we had her. And so it's kind of the same, the 5s, getting a kid like Striplin, having Lily, that, really their skill set is to play with their back to the basket. Although Lily can obviously step out, Strip can face up with no issues as well. But it's just part of, our recruiting efforts, wanting those 4s that can really stretch it out and shoot it.
You saw in the first half, the defense kind of led your team in getting that lead at halftime. And then obviously in the second half, the 3-ball really was the major key there.
Right.
How important is it to be a well-rounded team, especially in these Big Ten games down the stretch?
Yeah, well, it's really important, and it has to happen on, I think, both sides of the ball. You have to have, the guys that understand the scouting report defensively and, can get you the stops, can get you the rebounds. And then I think you have to have great balance on the offensive side, with us putting the ball inside to our 5s, but also sharing the ball on the outside. The last 2 games, this group has really shared the ball, and we've had great balance.
You went on almost an 8-minute scoring drought there through the first and second
Yeah, it
quarters.
felt like it.
What do you do or say to try to get the offense going?
Yeah, it's just, I think we missed 6 layups. We counted them in the first half. You just can't have droughts like that against the best of the best, in this league. And we'll have to go back, to be honest with you, and kind of look in that stretch, whether it was just the turnovers, whether it was, 3s that we like or maybe some shots that we didn't like, that we didn't think were good shots for us. And so we'll have to go back. But I could feel it. I didn't know it was 8 minutes, but I could feel it. We hadn't scored in a minute.
Looking forward a little bit, Teri, big stretch coming up with games at Minnesota, and then after that, Michigan. This team has had some success on the road in the Big Ten and some lack of success. But what,
Sure.
what do you feel like? What do you feel good about right now going on the road against these two teams?
Well, I feel good that we've won our last 3 games, right? And I think our kids feel good about that they've won their last 3 games. And I've liked how we've gone about winning, those games. We know it's a different deal when you go on the road, but I really do. I mean, this is and I've said it before. I mean, this is a very determined group, and they want to get things right. And so we're going to have to be as good as we've been, the last 2 games defensively. When we travel over to Minnesota and we go to Michigan, and then, it's as elementary and simple as it sounds. We've got to be able to hit shots. Got to be able to hit shots and execute on the offensive side of the ball, and make sure that those assists are high and those turnovers continue to stay low. And I think I can speak for our group. Like, we understand what we have to do. Now, going out and executing that is going to be something that we're going to have to do. But we understand that we can't go to Minnesota and have the fourth quarter that we had at Oregon. We just can't. And so, we've continued, even though it's February, and by now you should have learned all those hard lessons, but it's like we're continuing to learn lessons throughout. And hopefully the start of February, the way we did, some of those hard lessons will hopefully benefit us when we go to Minnesota, when we go to Michigan. And I only say that because listening to our kids, it's like they talk about growth, they talk about maturity, they talk about being here before, and how we've either held on to the lead and expanded on the lead, and or how we've decided to take 3 bad shots in a row and have let teams back in it. They understand that, I think, at this point.
All right, thanks, Coach.